Welcome to another edition of Lean Bites. Hey, thanks for joining me today. My name is Paul Dean. In today's edition of Lean Bites, we're going to look at a concept that will support developing a successful lean transformation groundswell. And I've been using this concept for many years to identify the drivers to enable a successful lean transformation. Firstly, allow me to explain the concept and then provide you with my tips on how to develop it. According to the Collins Dictionary, groundswell is a public feeling or opinion that is detectable even though not openly expressed. And groundswell is also a concept very familiar with surfing and ocean activities in general. It's when swell is generated by a storm way out to sea rather than wind generating the swell closer to shore. And the benefits to ocean sports is that it's more reliable, more consistent, and generally more powerful. In fact, surfing competitions look for potential groundswell to create better waves and provide a more consistent environment to produce better results. The exact same principle applies to your lean transformation. We need to look for principles and methods that will drive long-term sustainable results. Now, in a lean transformation, typically the senior leadership team lead the various steps in the implementation, and at some stage the frontline team members will begin to accept and support change. Some will even become strong advocates. This is where the change really accelerates. This is groundswell. But groundswell isn't automatic. You have to foster the environment where it can grow. Now, groundswell might look and sound like engagement, but I believe groundswell is that underlying current that supports engagement. Now, I've got 4 simple tips that I've used over the years that will help you develop groundswell amongst your people. Number 1, respect for people. And I found that one of the most common ways to describe this principle is using Toyota's explanation. Respect, we make every effort to understand each other and to do our best to build mutual trust. And teamwork, we share the opportunities of development and maximize individual and team performance. This applies to everyone. It must be led, modeled, and fostered by leaders, but everyone should do it. And respect for people at all levels will make a significant contribution to groundswell. Number 2, communication. We all know that information is important, but more important is the passage of that information or how we communicate. Keep your team members up to date as often as practicable. And I've used a notice board or storyboard to share the plan and its progress. Communication must be clear, unambiguous, not confusing, concise, simple and straight to the point, timely, delivered at the right time, relevant, matched to the audience, and circular. It needs to flow both ways. And a great communication tool is a daily huddle. Effective communication is the power that fuels your groundswell. Number 3, empowerment. Give your team members something to do right from the start. And more importantly, allow them to do it. This takes an enormous amount of trust in both directions. Team members will appreciate not only having a part to play in the lean transformation, but the scope to do it themselves. Don't over-direct them. And make sure you and your leaders coach at every possible opportunity. And as they contribute and see the impact of their contribution, it will further fuel the groundswell. And finally, number 4, reward and recognition. I believe everyone appreciates being recognized and rewarded for their efforts, as long as the recognition is timely, authentic, constructive, respectful, and honest. We need to change our thinking that reward has to be monetary. And let's not procrastinate. If we can't start a recognition program, then just do it and modify it as you go. There is no formula for the amount or frequency of recognition, but ideally to be done by everyone. And I've seen many times over that praise and recognition is such a powerful ingredient to groundswell. And above all, if you believe in groundswell, then look for drivers that will build that underlying current. You owe it to your people around you. I hope this has been very helpful. And before I go, I'd like to leave you with a simple quote. Give recognition where it's due. Compliments stimulate more effort and desire to improve. Be generous with honest praising. Bruce Lee. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Lean Bites.